As part of a brand new start for this channel, I'm going to be turning it into a movie review account, and for my first review, I'm going to do Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog was a movie released earlier this year before everything with the coronavirus happened and follows a little blue hedgehog named Sonic. Sonic is an alien from another planet who gets sent to Earth after his surrogate owl mother Longclaw believes it would be safer for him. On Earth, Sonic meets local cop Tom Wachowski, who agrees to take him on a road trip to San Francisco to retrieve his lost bag of rings, all while avoiding the advances of government agent Dr. Robotnik. So my review is going to be broken up into 4 parts. The pros section, where I talk about what I liked about the movie, the cons section, where I talked about what I didn't like about the movie, my final rating and overall thoughts of the movie, and after that, I'm going to be doing a spoiler section at the tail end of the video, so anyone who doesn't like spoilers can get what they want to see first, and then the people who want to stick around for the spoilers can get the final part of the video, so no one really misses anything. Kicking off my pros section, I obviously want to first talk about Sonic's redesign. When they revealed the absolutely horrific original design for Sonic and then said they were going to redesign him, I was extremely skeptical. I did not believe a delay of a few months was going to fix how Sonic looked, at least not enough to an extent where he didn't still look like a dumpster fire. However, to my surprise, they managed to pull it off. They turned a sewer rat into the Sonic we all know and love. Now, obviously, the new Sonic redesign does not look exactly like the Sonic we all know and love, but I think for this movie, it actually looks a bit better. The redesign feels like the perfect blend of Sonic and realism, in my opinion. So, of course, huge props to Paramount for actually listening to their fans and changing their movie for the better. Another thing I want to give props to are the visual effects. Even back when Sonic looked like a mutated plague rat, I still thought the visuals on him were pretty good. I mean, he looked real. He looked like he was actually there. He didn't look out of place. And with the redesign, it's the same boat, only with a much better looking Sonic. I think the details and CGI on Sonic throughout the movie are absolutely incredible. While I do think it looks better while the movie is focusing on just Sonic and Sonic isn't with any human characters, I still think it looks great while Sonic is interacting with the human characters. A prime example would be any of the scenes where Sonic is in the truck with Tom and they're having a conversation. It looks like he's genuinely having a conversation with Tom. He looks like he's there, and I gotta give huge props for that. Something else that's great in this movie are the action sequences. I think the action sequences in this movie make great use of Sonic's trademark super speed and deliver some pretty unique action sequences that feel like something I haven't seen a lot in action movies. There are sequences where Sonic is trying to escape Robotnik and he's running around San Francisco, running along the Great Wall of China, running around in Egypt, and it all just looks so good. There are a couple of sequences where it looks like Sonic has basically frozen time because of how fast he is. I do think that trope is a little overdone at this point, most notably with Quicksilver in the X-Men franchise, but I still think it's fun to see Sonic run around beating up dudes in a bar or destroying some of Eggman's robots while they're all basically frozen. Going forward with this franchise, I do think the action sequences are going to be one of its strongest points. Another thing I want to give props to is the cast. I think Ben Schwartz's voice fits Sonic perfectly. Like, he brings this childlike energy to Sonic, which for the movie was absolutely perfect. I think James Marsden plays Tom really well. I would assume it has to be hard to play a human character in a movie where you're forced to interact with a fake CGI character, but James Marsden, he pulls it off. Props to Tika Sumpter as well for playing Maddie. She's more of a minor supporting character, but while she is on screen, I think Tika Sumpter does give a really good performance, and I enjoyed her in the role. But special props to Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik, whose performance in this movie is on a different level completely from the rest of the cast. Jim Carrey is not playing Dr. Robotnik in this movie. Jim Carrey is playing Jim Carrey in this movie. He plays Robotnik the exact same as he'd play someone like Ace Ventura or Bruce Almighty. In my opinion, this movie's portrayal of Robotnik is nothing close to how he is in the games, but Jim Carrey brings such manic energy to the character that it's really hard to care. Carrey is so fun in the role. He's a complete blast to see on screen, and I think he completely stole the show for me. His performance is up there as one of the absolute best things about this entire movie. The final thing I want to talk about that I liked are the moments of fan service given to Sonic fans. There's not a ton of it in the movie, but the fan service the movie does have is pretty good. For example, Sonic's home planet looks exactly like the iconic Green Hills zone first introduced in the very first Sonic the Hedgehog game. Some other smaller bits of fan service include a bunch of things in Sonic's Earth Cave, Sonic doing the Smash Ultimate pose while running from Robotnik, and a very funny sequence in which a minor character, Crazy Carl, pulls out a drawing he did of Sonic, and the drawing looks identical to the Sonic internet meme. And that was one of the few genuinely funny moments in the movie, and we'll get to the comedy in just a bit. Now, starting off my cons section, the first thing I want to talk about is the humor. Now, I know that this movie is aimed towards kids, but, just because it's a kids movie doesn't mean it can't be funny. However, personally, I think the humor rarely lands in this movie. There are some funny sequences, like Robotnik dancing and the aforementioned Sonic drawing from Crazy Carl, but apart from that, there's really not a lot of funny scenes in this movie. There are burp jokes, there are fart jokes, which I think are the absolute lowest bars of kids' humor. There are also jokes where it feels like the movie is just trying to be, cool for the newer generation. I mean, you've got scenes like Sonic calling Keanu Reeves a national treasure. You've got scenes where Sonic flosses. He flosses, guys, and he doesn't just floss once, he flosses twice. I don't know if when Sonic flossed, what I was hearing was the dialogue from the movie or the sounds of everybody in my theater collectively groaning. I don't know, man, I just think that scene in particular was probably the absolute worst joke in the movie. And to add on to it, he does it again. But aside from that, the movie also relies a lot on pop culture references. And I don't have a problem with pop culture references, but they're so frequent in this movie that it's just kind of, it gets old. Sonic makes references to, like I said earlier, Keanu Reeves. He makes references to the Fast and the Furious franchise. He makes references to Amazon. He makes references to just a whole host of things in this movie, and it really does get old at points. So overall, the humor in this movie was incredibly low bar, in my opinion, and that was just very underwhelming. Another minor issue I have with it is the story. I think the story is just generic, basic, there's nothing really new about it. It's the same CGI animal interacts with human character plot that basically makes up a whole subgenre at this point, but it's the same plot we've seen 1,000 times before. Because of this, the movie is pretty predictable at points. I think the movie has very few surprises and it throws you very few curveballs, and that's mostly due to the fact that it has a very cliched done-before plot. The movie also has a bunch of pacing issues. For a movie that's about a character that's super fast, the beginning of the movie is pretty slow, actually. We get a lot of build-up towards our human characters, not enough time with Sonic, and while the human characters aren't unlikable by any means, it's just, we're here to see Sonic. We're not here to see Tom talk about having more responsibility as a cop and wanting to move to San Francisco. And then after the setup, I think for the rest of the movie, it moves a bit too fast. We're jumping from one scene to another pretty quickly, and really just the pacing in this movie is all over the place. And I think just the writing in general in this movie could have used a bit more work. I mean, the writing in this movie is not horrible by any means, but there are a few points at the movie where it does feel extremely sloppy and like it's trying to force exposition or force fan service, force character development, and I just think it could have used a bit more work. And finally, the product placements. Dear God, the product placements. I don't think I have ever seen this much shameless, pointless product placement in a movie ever. Like, Olive Garden is referenced so many times in this movie that it's downright distracting. We get the entire gist of the website Zillow through one scene, and Sonic apparently likes Mellow Yellow because he has a can of it in his Earth cave and Tom orders it for him at the bar. I mean, I don't mind product placement, but when it's so frequently just in your face like that, it's distracting, and it gets honestly kind of annoying. Like, if I were to make a joke about the incredibly frequent product placement, I could honestly call Sonic the Hedgehog the longest, highest budgeted Olive Garden commercial I've ever seen. And again, product placement doesn't normally bother me, but this movie took it way too far. So for my rating of the movie, I want to do something I don't normally do and give it 2 different ratings. 1, I want to rate it as a movie on its own merits, and 2, I want to rate it as a video game movie and out of the amount of entertainment I think it'll give Sonic fans. From a filmmaking perspective and just as a movie by itself, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. It's pretty mediocre. There are a bunch of things I liked and a bunch of things I didn't like. It's really more of a mixed bag for me. But as a video game movie and as a Sonic movie, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It really does deserve those extra points, in my opinion, for being a video game movie that doesn't completely suck, and for actually being a decent Sonic movie when Sonic's reputation has been steadily going downhill for as long as I can remember. But with me being a Sonic fan and all, I do think that Sonic the Hedgehog is worth seeing for kids and Sonic fans. If you're a fan of the character or you want to watch something with kids that'll just distract them for a little while, I think this movie is the right pick for you. However, if you're looking for like an artistic cinematic piece that's going to make you think, or a really great movie that's going to stick in your mind for a while after, you're probably not going to walk away satisfied from this movie. But really, I don't think that was its job. I think its job was to deliver a mildly entertaining movie for kids and Sonic fans, and in that aspect, I think it delivers. So if you've seen the movie and you want to tell me what you thought of it, put it down in the comments and I'll try and read everyone's that I can. So before we wrap up, I want to cover spoilers about the movie. So if you haven't seen the movie and you care about being spoiled, then just go ahead and click off of the video. It's over for you. Because this is going to be the last thing I'm going to talk about. However, if you've seen the movie or you don't care about spoilers, you may continue. Both spoilers I want to talk about take place as a credit scene. The first one features Robotnik after being exiled to the Mushroom Planet during the final battle of the movie, and it's here that we see that Robotnik has changed. He's taken on a much more game-accurate Eggman design. He is bald, he has a large bushy mustache, he's gained some weight, and he's even more insane than he was throughout the movie already. So I think this scene is pretty obvious sequel bait, and I think it does set up a more game-accurate sequel, but not as much as the next spoiler I want to talk about. So the next spoiler I want to talk about, and what I personally think is the absolute best scene in the entire movie, Tails shows up on Earth in search of Sonic. I mean, I would be lying to you if I said that I didn't squeal like a child in the theater when Tails popped up on screen. I mean, it's like watching a part of your childhood come to life. And Tails looks so good in the movie, and I think this is easily the most prominent sequel bait in the entire movie, and definitely sets up the fact that the sequel will be much more game accurate, and because of that, I think Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is going to be one of the very few sequels that I think will genuinely be better than the first one. But yeah, that's about all I have to say about Sonic the Hedgehog. What'd you guys think? Did you agree? Did you disagree? Do you have some other thoughts about the Sonic movie? If so, let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you like the video and subscribe if you like my content so far. And yeah, that's about it. See you guys later.